Okay, the Modern Warfare beta, weekend one, just ended. It was rough. I'm not sure if it was rough for anyone else, but goddamn was it rough for me. Jesus, man, they weren't kidding about realism. Oh man, the everything being a projectile, slow ADS, slow sprint out, everything being tactical, like really, really tactical. Like it doesn't even feel like a Call of Duty game anymore. Oh geez, but I'll get into that later, guys. But anyway, so I haven't played enough of the game to actually give very serious points on. Like if I played for hours and hours and hours on end, I would definitely give a more serious approach to this, but I have not played for hours and hours. I had to work this weekend. I had to prepare for college, so I didn't have time for that. I had to get my classes in order, had to pay for them, had to get ready to, go back to Davis to start my next quarter. So I didn't have all the time in the world to be playing this. So I can't give my thoughts on that yet. Maybe next week, who knows? But I can definitely give you guys some recommendations on what I experienced and what I would recommend you guys do in the future for next week when we have another weekend of the beta. I'm not sure if it's open for Xbox and PC. That might be their closed beta, but I know for a fact that it's open for PS4. So next week when you come back, you can hopefully learn from my mistakes and hopefully do better. But anyways, so you guys heard me griping about being a solo player, so recommendation number one, make a party, get some friends. If you don't got some friends, make some friends. Just party up. I cannot stress that enough. This gameplay you guys are watching, I did spawn in late, but we could have easily won this game if there was some actual teamwork, some actual coordination, but I just assumed that my team's gonna have that. I assumed that many times throughout the beta that, my team would have my back and that we would all be on the same page, but we weren't. So, yeah, just communication, that is key. Like, that's such a cliche thing to say, but, like, it is key. Like, you really need that. Like, when we lost B and we were retaking it, like, we were so, like, the communication was not there. Like, even the cues, like, I was the only one on B. When then they threw a grenade at me, I had to run away because I don't want to die off my streak. No one else got on B. And then when we got on B, there were 4 of us on B. There did not have to be 4 of us on B. And we kept losing flags over and over and over again. No one was guarding them. So it was just a colossal mistake. Like, just even, oh man, I should have just made a party. I tried solo, I really did, because that's what I've been doing for the past year and a half, but it doesn't fly here. Like, normally, if I had any one of the 3 teams I was a part of in the past, what we would have done is that 3 people would camp out B, 2 people would flank to A, I believe, when we lost that one, and then 1 person would work on rotation, which was usually me to, back up whoever needed it, either the 2-man team going to A or the 3-man team, guarding B. So that's what I would have done, but unfortunately, I didn't have that team, so it was just really rough watching us lose like that over and over and over again. So, tip number 1, that's the really big one. Make a party. Thank me later. You will not lose or, die off as many streaks as I did. Tip number 2, do not abuse the sprint. Like, we'll call it super sprint. Like, you have unlimited sprint as far as I know, and you have a super sprint when you double tap your left analog. Do not abuse them. It's nice to have, it's good to see that they brought it back, in World War II, and I think in Black Ops 4 as well, we have unlimited sprint. That's nice to see. It's good that you can get from place to place, pretty quick, but like I mentioned before, slow sprint out times. So if you're going anywhere with any significant traffic, like any action at all, do not do that. Like, I'll show a clip here of me, like, playing on Gunrunner. Again, I don't just like the game or the map because it's called Gunrunner because I like to run and gun, but I just personally find that to be the best map so far. I'll get into that hopefully next week when I actually play all the maps and all the modes. I didn't even touch like realism or the night vision game mode or whatever it was, but I like this map a lot. So if you see a lot of that gameplay from that map, I apologize, but that is my favorite map. But like, I'm running around with my head cut off like a headless chicken, like it's stupid. I should not be doing that. Like, every time I did that, I always died off a streak. Like, even with the, what was it called? The short barrel and whatever the pistol grip was on the M4. Even though I had both of those, which is to, cut my sprint out speed, I would still lose when I was sprinting or, super sprinting and trying to ADS. I would always lose that gunfight. So, use it to get from objective to objective. If you spawn far away or if it's really far away, when you really want to get there, by all means, sprint away. But if you're going anywhere with any kind of action at all, just do what I'm doing, like in the first clip. Like, have your gun up, you can crouch, definitely sound whore, like have your headset on if you have a headset or earbuds, definitely listen for footsteps, listen for for gunfire. When they talk, sometimes they'll just say things when they reload or when they get shot or when they throw down something from their special equipment like the munitions box. Sometimes they'll say something. So, go crouched. I would recommend crouch if you're going anywhere like where you think action's gonna be, so that way you make less sound, and your gun, your hip fire steadier, so you can hit fire and go to ADS. Just be tactical, because we have to be tactical now. Tip number 3 is about your settings. So for blur and for film grain, turn those off. We do not need that. I know they're trying to shove realism down our throat, but we don't need that. We know it's a video game, and we're gonna treat it like a video game. So treat it like a video game and turn those off. This is not real life. Also, I didn't understand why people did this in the past, but there is a color blindness filter. Turn that to Tritanopia, I believe is what it's called. It's a color blindness of blue and yellow. So if you can't see those colors and you turn this on and you're colorblind and you have this condition, you're not going to see any difference at all. Actually, you might have a better chance just running the normal color blindness filter, like whatever the default is. I just find that with the normal setting for the color blindness filter, everything is super dull. Like everything just blends together. It looks like, the dirt's also a person, but the person, just right next to the dirt just blends together. So everything looks like it's debris, and I shoot at the wrong thing. I've actually shot at a wall and not the person, because it all looked the same. It was just really tough to differentiate that. But once I turned on Tritanopia, it was much easier. Everything becomes brighter. I don't know. I don't know why. I guess if I researched the condition, I could have figured out why, but you guys know me. I'm not the brightest bulb, so I'm not gonna do that. So I would just confuse myself even more and confuse you guys, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, so I would recommend Tritanopia. You don't have to, you can kind of mess with the settings. Yeah, I just never understood why people did this until now, because it probably made things easier to see. Maybe that's why they decided to do that. I just know I could spot who had their color blindness filter on, because I think the arrows would be purple and green. So it was, or was it purple and yellow? Whatever it was very interesting to see that on a gameplay. But yeah, so now I understand why. So if you want to give it a shot, just mess with the settings and the color blindness filter until you get something where it might make it easier to see your opponent, which I found to be Tritanopia. So for me, that made the difference. Maybe not for you, but just give it a shot. And I guess tip 3.5, I guess it's not really much of a tip, as opposed to just what I did. Level up all your guns to the maximum before you decide to switch to a new gun. Try out as many attachments as possible. Everything may not work. Like if you decide to put 5 attachments on a gun, which I did in the beginning because I thought like, hey, this should work out great. It did not work out great. Most attachments have a pro and a con, except for, I believe, Heavy Hitter. That one I think just gives you the chance to get it gives you the option of a one-hit melee kill. So that one had no downside, I think, and all the gun perks, I believe, had no downsides either, I think. I used mostly sleight of hand, so that one had no downside, but I think all of them don't. But for most other attachments, I believe they have one. So, you don't have to maximize your attachments. If something, looks too bad, like the pro does not outweigh the con, don't put it on. But I would highly recommend you try out everything. Like for the M4A1, which the M4A1 was the only gun I maximized, to level 30. Like that was the one I leveled up to the maximum. So every other gun, I did not play with every gun, so that's why I'm not giving like a final recommendation, like serious points. But that one I used almost every single optic. All the barrel attachments, like I think it's called the heavy long barrel, or maybe just the heavy barrel, but I also used the short barrel for most of my gameplays that I tried to record. The suppressor, the what's it called, the flash hider, I believe, the muzzle brake, extended mags, all the foregrips. Like I tried the heavy stock, the lightweight stock. Like I tried pretty much everything just to see what would work. So give every attachment a shot. I don't think you have to be so analytical that you have to use like one attachment on the gun only, try a game with that one, and then switch it out for another one. I don't think you have to be that like precise, but mess with combinations, like see what works best for you. And again, like go with your gut feeling. If you don't think it's worth it, just leave it by the wayside and maybe come back to it later if you decide to, switch up your combination. But definitely try out like as many combinations as you can think of, and try using all the attachments before you decide to toss away a gun, because you honestly don't know. It could play completely different when you have a different attachment on. But I think that's pretty much it. I guess maybe for 4 is what I learned the hard way by dying and dying and dying and dying. yeah, do not treat this like a normal Call of Duty game. What I had to do is that I had to go with the mindset that this is like Rainbow Six Siege and Battlefield. Like that kind of melds into what I talked about with number 2, where I said don't sprint and sprint and sprint some more. Just be very like play it slow. Like I hate that so much. You know, gameplay number 1, it hurt to play like that. I hate, you know, just like sitting there wait for someone to come to you. But honestly, that is that's what everybody is doing. Like there's so many maps in this game that cater to head glitching, camping, just ADSing around corners constantly, you know, just not de-ADSing. Like it's just, God, I hate that. Like that really hurt to see Call of Duty devolve into that, because I hate camping, but you have to play like that to succeed, and it really hurts to say that, because that is not Call of Duty to me. Call of Duty for me was all about the running and gunning and rail shooting and whatnot. Like it was an arcade shooter to me. So to see it become like this, like we have excellent games like Rainbow Six Siege where they already do this. We don't need this in Call of Duty, but we have it in Call of Duty, so you're gonna have to play like that. So you can get shot from like 7 different angles. Like I think it's called Grozny Raid, the 10v10 map. You can get shot from so many fucking places. There are so many places for people to camp and camp and camp. So just play it slow. Do not rush out in the middle of nowhere, like running down to like the center of the map. Like you have to go through streets, like on Grozny Raid, I think, for example. You have to go through streets and streets and streets, kind of like, oh God, I called it, what was it called? That Black Ops 2 map. I think it's called Stronghold? No, what's it called? I'll show a picture. It's kind of like that map on steroids, where like the streets are bigger, the what's it called? The open areas are much wider. Like it just doesn't, it feels like a worse version of that. So it was just, God, it was just really bad. But yeah, so again, treat it tactically. Just don't rush in like you normally do. Like you can't treat this like MW3. You can't treat it like BO1, BO3, BO4. You can't just, you know, run and run and run and hope to make it out. You have to take it slow and just, you know, treat every single gunfight like, you know, it's its own gunfight. Don't like, you know, be absent-minded, you know, stay focused. Like I know this is tough, and you know, I hate like having to, got it. It's like when you die off of it, like it's the most defeating like feeling ever. Like when you spend like every life is your last life in your mind. So when you die off of it, it's like, oh man, I focused so much for that life, but then you have to do it again for the next one. But that's what you have to do in this game. So anyways, yeah guys, so thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully this was helpful at all. Like I made so many mistakes, so hopefully you guys won't make the same in weekend 2. But anyways, yeah guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and like always guys, have an awesome day. I'll see you all in the next one.